Have you ever felt like Google treat your business like you're a criminal? And you see so many businesses saying they've been suspended. And it feels like suspension's always just around the corner. And often, it seems the most innocent businesses suffer most. Well, I decided what you need is a get out of jail card. And for those that do get suspended, when they contact me, the first thing they say is, I just don't know what I've done wrong. And if I'm honest, when I look at their business, quite often they've done nothing wrong. Often they've just fallen into a trap, or they've come across something and didn't realise what they've done was against the policies. And what's even worse is you discover that there are all these spammers that just seem to be getting away with it, and Google does nothing about it. So in this video, I'm going to give you that get out of jail card that you're going to need. I'm going to reveal the 10 most common areas that are likely to get you suspended if you don't know about them. And I'm also going to reveal what you can do to stop this type of thing happening and stopping you from ranking locally. But first, there's one thing you need to understand, and it's regarding my cupboard behind me. So how's that going to help? Well, this cupboard's been around for 5 years on my YouTube videos in the background. But what's actually inside? And how's what's inside going to help you and give you the most valuable lesson that I've ever taught on here? I'm just going to use the key. Now, what's behind it is not what you're going to expect. There you go. It's full of games. And yes, okay, I love strategy games. And no, I'm not like Sheldon on Big Bang. And I can see the comments now. Anyway, each of these games have complex rules and sets of rules that you need to follow, and each player in the game needs to be familiar with. And this is the first thing, that Google also has complex rules to follow. Imagine trying to play one of these games and everyone just guessing what the rules are. Well, that makes no sense whatsoever. And that's what most business owners are doing. They're entering into this Google Business Profile game and they're not really familiar with the rules. And this is what I call the 3 Gs, Google Guideline Guesswork. So what are the Google Guideline Guesswork? Well, it really is. There's a lot of guessing going on for most people. So 3 things you need to do. You need to know what the rules are. You can't take any old rules or rules from the past because they get updated. And also you need to know what to do if someone starts cheating. Now in a normal game, if someone starts cheating, well, they're void of then winning the game. But it seems that Google doesn't always handle things like that fairly. And you can add to that, there's always some clever clogs who seems to know his own rules, his own house rules. You get it quite often with Monopoly, on free parking. Suddenly there's always money appearing on free parking. Everyone seems to have their own version of rules on that area. Well, this is where the 7 links I'm going to reveal to you now are the get out of jail card. You need it because if ever you do get suspended, you'll need these links. And so you generally keep this card for when it comes in handy. And using this card will actually also help you know what to do if someone does start cheating the system, as well as making sure that you don't cheat the system. The first one is an overview of the rules. So you need to know this page, you need to go to this link at some point and just be familiar with what generally the rules are. The second one is a contact form, and as you fill it out, you'll find it will reveal an email. You can then start emailing Google with your problems about your Google Business Profile. So that's a really useful link. The third link is what's known as the basic guidelines, and this in effect is the most useful one because it's aimed particularly at your types of business. So if you're running a business or a shop or a service, you'll find this page covers all of the main things that are going to affect you. The fourth area we could call the community chest. It is certainly a community because it's where others can help you. So perhaps experts, people that can log on and they'll look at your situation, and often there'll be some useful information in there that will handle the same situations you're going through. So you need to make sure you're familiar with that community. So the fifth area is a link to my website. And on there you'll find that there's an email you can sign up to that keeps you updated with the very latest information. So when Google changes things, changes the rules, I keep you updated via email. Also there'll be some articles in there on some of the changes we're finding. And when Google makes changes, often because no one seems to know about them, you can get a great tip on how you can rank better using that new information. So you'll want to make sure you're familiar with my website and keep updated via that. The sixth is a link to some areas where you can download information about how to deal with a suspension. So this is also going to help you if that ever does happen. And as a PDF you can download there. The seventh area is an area to report fraud. And for this one, I have a great tip that's going to help you to report it. And bearing in mind, if you report, say, someone who's above you, if they're then, say, number 1 and you're number 2, by reporting them, if Google accepts that report, then you'll go to number 1, they'll be removed. And by doing so, that's accepted as then playing by the rules, playing fairly. And so there's a really nice tip as to how you can go about that and succeed that I'll share with you in a moment. So all these 7 links will show you exactly what to do when problems come along, and also how you can avoid the problems in the first place. But why are businesses suspended for no reason whatsoever? How does that make sense if they're playing by the rules? Well, normally I found it's one of 10 things that's most likely to have happened, and sometimes you're not even aware it's happened. And remember, you need to be familiar with these 10 things, because if you're not, there's a chance you run the risk of suspension. And once you get suspended, sometimes it can take months to get your genuine business back to where it should be, even if it was a mistake from Google. So number 1, adding fake reviews. So don't get caught up into that. You'll find plenty of people offering fake reviews on emails, on Fiverr. If you do that, you stand a chance you'll then find you're suspended. Number 2, adding fake signals. In effect, by clicking on your maps, clicking on directions, it is adding fake signals. Google uses those signals in a positive way, but if it recognises or thinks it's been happening in a way that's been to manipulate results, then you could be suspended. Number 3, the presence of other profiles in the same category or the same address or the same phone number. Basically, Google says you can only have 1 profile per business. So if it looks like you've got multiple businesses, duplicated businesses, you'll get suspended. The 4th area is keyword stuffing. It's another big one where you just use keywords in the name, the business title. So again, that's a very grey area, but again, it does run a risk. And here's an interesting one. Did you know you can be suspended for receiving too many reviews? Now, I cover that in my workshop, but particularly just be aware, if you receive too many reviews at the same time, you can get suspended because it will assume it must be fake. The 6th area is just having an incorrect primary category. So again, Google is looking. If it doesn't think it's a fair category, it could actually take you down for that. So just make sure you've got the right primary category and the right categories in effect that describe your business. Number 7 is just having stock photos. So again, you want genuine photos, don't use stock photos. If Google notices it's duplicated, that could also get the business suspended. The 8th area is if you don't respond to anything, and if you've got customers asking you via messages, via emails, via phone, if there's no response, there's a time when Google may just remove the business. Number 9 is just duplicating the business deliberately. So rather than having a manipulated one where you've got the same phone numbers and yet you've got different businesses, this one's where you've just got the same business over and over again. That could happen. And number 10, having a PO box, having a virtual address. Google wants a definite address, somewhere where you can be found by customers. If it's a shop, you can't use virtual offices, you can't use shared spaces which have got just boxes. It has to be a definite address. But of course it leaves the question, well then why are these guys allowed to do this? The biggest spammers in the world, look at these as well. And you can just see that there are times when Google doesn't seem to handle things very well. This was a good few months ago now, and still Google is allowing it to happen. Now, I don't know the circumstances here. They may all be genuine businesses, but it does look suspicious. Now, if you find that type of thing going on ahead of you, if you look at your ranking and you're outside the top 10 because there's, say, 10 of these ahead of you, well then surely there's something you can do about it if we're all playing by the same rules. And there is. You remember that form I mentioned a moment ago, where if you go to there, and I've put the link down in the description, when you go there, you can report it. But here's a little tip that most people don't realise. If you get 3 different people with different profiles reporting it, then Google will take notes. So if you report it, say, for spam, or report it for a title, or the harassment, or whatever the reason is you're reporting, if you report it all for the same reasons and you have 3 people, so in effect it fast tracks Google dealing with it. And from my experience, it does get removed every time. Now I put together another video that's got 37 other tips that give you a chance to rank higher. So you want to head over to this now. You could say it's a chance card. It's to do with Monopoly. Okay, oh well, head over to there.